We wondered about the Brooms prior to the game, whether or not they'd be needed. Turns out, yes, they were. 3-1 Phillies. They sweep out the Colorado Rockies. They're 5-1 on the still young season. Ricky Pitalico, I'm Michael Barkan. John Kruk in a moment as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. And Ricky Bo, over it all, to me, the overarching theme has got to be Taijuan Walker. He was spectacular. In fact, if you just saw the line and the numbers, you'd think it was Zach Wheeler pitching when you look at those numbers.
Maybe it was.
Maybe it was.
When you think about it, he threw a lot of strikes in this ball game. He was just one of those guys that was moving the ball around, changing speeds, especially early on in the counts. You know what? In the one pitch you and I recognized early on in this game, his curveball was nasty. I mean, it was kind of just dropping out of space, which is what you want it to be. But, I mean, his splitter was really good in this game. He changed speeds. You know what? I talked about him trying to become a pitcher, and I think that's what he did in this game. He wasn't out there just saying, here's my splitter, here's my splitter. I thought he worked his fastball all around the zone. He got some early contact, especially early on in the ball game. And then when he needed it, he would drop that splitter with 2 strikes. I think it's turning into a better better two-strike pitch than anything else for him. And the curveball and the slide and the cutter are really kind of turning into pitches that he could rely on throughout the game.
Let's go over to the ballpark by way of television and check in with John Kruk. It's the crossover presented by Chapman Auto Stores. John, I know one start, even successful, even awesome, does not a season make. But when you look at Taijuan Walker, what did he do today that was so good compared to last year when he struggled mightily?
Well, exactly what Rick said. He threw strikes, and he commanded his pitches today. I thought he and JT worked really well together. And look, after what happened on opening day with the reception that he got, so happy for Taijuan of what he did today. You know, he turned what was a negative fan reaction on opening day to a positive one when he walked off the mound after that 6th inning. So happy for him. He's a great teammate. The players love him. The coaching staff loves him. And you know, thank goodness for Taijuan. We're so happy for him that, you know, he did the job, did what he did today to get the Phillies a sweep.
John, how would you look at this Phillies offense? I mean, when you look at the game, you say, okay, they won 3-1, but why do I get the feeling like they should have broken this thing way open? I feel like only 2 extra base hits is a little low for them.
Yeah, 11 hits, and but you know, I don't know what to say about the offense. You know, they do enough to win, and that's all you need. Look, you know, I thought Nick had a great at bat when he moved a runner over to third with less than 2 outs. I don't think we scored on that particular play, but on that particular inning. But you know, we were aggressive. JT was aggressive on the base pass today. You know, Bryce, of course, with the infield in, came up with a big hit. And I think it tells you how good Taijuan pitched when they had the infield in, and I believe it was the 5th inning, maybe, bottom of the 5th, when the Phillies finally broke through. You know, look, they have left. They did leave a lot of men on base today, but, you know, like I said, when you have a starting staff that's pitching like this starting staff, it has been and is capable of doing for the remainder of the season, you would think, you know, executing the offensive game plan is paramount, and moving runners. They did it last night. They did it again tonight, and you know, they came up with a couple big hits from Bryce and from Kyle, and lo and behold, here we are, 5-1.
Here we are. You're right. Hey, as long as they get one more run than the other team, John, that's the bottom line. They can do that all season, right? That's all you care about. That's what you cared about as a player. Just get one more run, win the game, right?
Yeah, there are some times when you want to blow someone out, so you give your pitchers a little break, you know. But, you know, hey, early in the season, playing close games, hey, it builds those guys in the bullpen's confidence up moving forward, right?
It sure does. Talk to us a little bit about Kyle Schwarber, you were sitting in the booth with Tommy. He went 444 feet. It looked like it was going to leave the yard. It also looked like the woman who caught the ball almost got nailed right in the head if she hadn't moved a little bit. That was a shot. And it's almost like watching Ryan Howard in that when he's up at bat, Kyle Schwarber, you got to make sure you're in front of the TV.
Yeah, you got to make sure the bathroom break and the beer run are all done when Kyle's hitting, because it could be special. And I'll tell you that, first of all, if you all were over here, the noise it made coming off his bat was so loud. And, we thought it might drop into the bullpen. I mean, we've seen him hit home runs into the bullpens before. We thought it was going to be in the Rockies bullpen up top. But it didn't stop there. And, look, the wind was blowing out a little bit toward right field, to right center field, but that ball didn't need any help whatsoever. And I felt sorry for the people out there. I'm sure they weren't expecting something up there, but that's what happens when Kyle Schwarber gets out in front of one and hits it off the barrel. People are going to be ducking, and ain't going to be players on the field.
Yeah, looks like it's coming up here, Mary. No, it can't be. Couldn't be that far. You get bam.
Too high.
Right,
it's too high. Too high. What are you talking about? Too high.
That's right. Okay, get the stretcher. Now, lastly, take a look tomorrow. Dodgers come in, the world champs, 8-0 at this moment. 8-0. They beat Atlanta last night after trailing 5 or 6-0, and Ohtani wins it in the last at bat. This is going to be a show-me series, right? Early in the season, what each team has against the other.
Yeah, I look. It's 3-game series, and it should be, on paper, a great series. But if the Phillies want to get to where they need to go, these are the teams coming in now with the Dodgers, and I think they go to L.A. and then St. Louis, or Atlanta and then St. Louis afterwards on the road trip. But this series coming up, you don't overlook what you had to do today to get the win. But right now now we have to focus on this Dodgers offense, and I mean it ain't an easy pickings for any pitcher against the offense that the Dodgers have thrown out there this year. And it probably just going to keep getting better. But, hey, maybe for 3 games we could slow them down and our bats come alive early in the games against their rotation and hopefully win another series. That's all it takes.
All it takes. They took care of him here last year, and that was sweet. Hey, we'll be looking for you tomorrow on Apple TV. By the way, Ricky says he needs an iPad. I want some AirPod Pro. If you could get some of those from the – is that anybody? Hello, John? No, he's not going to do it. Hey, make sure you keep the cap on. I want to see that. Will they let you do it with the shirt and the whole bit? It's a whole different John Kruk on Apple TV.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, I ain't doing it.
Oh, I thought you were. Okay.
Oh, I don't think, unless they sent me an email.
You've done it before. I just put the guy in the booth for Apple TV. Beautiful.
Well, I could. I don't know what's going on with my phone and emails and stuff. Maybe someone did email me, but
yeah.
Oh well.
Rick, you got a question?
I ain't leaving.
Yeah, I was wondering if you two
Ocean
having
City.
a nice FaceTime together.
We absolutely are. Hang on, John.
Yeah.
Only a couple more. All right, buddy. We'll check you. We'll check you Saturday.
All right.
Thanks so much. John Kruk in the booth calling it today with Tom McCarthy as the Phillies win it 3-1. They're 5-1 on the season. Eye on the mound.
He looked like the Taijuan Walker that the Phillies wanted when they signed that contract. He was very good. He moved the ball in and out. And I know most people out there will say, well, it's Colorado Rockies and they stink. Okay, that's all fine and dandy too, but he went out there and threw strikes. So I think this is definitely a bonus. This is definitely something Taijuan Walker could work on.
Well, you know what? We were certainly hard on him last season, no one more so than me. He really, really struggled. In fact, the club did not pitch him. They said it was a blister, but they didn't pitch him from the middle of June to almost the middle of August. And he has been very inconsistent throughout the recent past of his career.
He's always stood up, though. He's always stood up. He's always been there. He's taken the good, the bad, the ugly. He's taken everything. So, I mean, credit-wise, you got to throw that to him at least a little bit. And I know eyes are still going to be on him. I know this is just one start, but This is the present. This is the last game we have seen of his, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And we heard Taron Hatcher tell us at the beginning of the game that he started his workout program a month earlier, that he was working with weighted baseballs.
Right.
I don't know if you ever did that when you pitched, but that would seem to help. And it looked like he had much better command of his pitches and a lot more snap and finish.
Right,
on
but
his
you're
pitches.
also talking about a guy that 2 years ago when he had that decent season here, he was throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. Okay? I mean, you're talking about now he's down near 93, 92, 93, which
But
is
the
still,
curveball.
That's what I'm talking about, though. He didn't use that last year. He wasn't utilizing anything but his split. And when you do that, you're going to get beat around. I think somebody had to get in his head and say, look, you got to pitch. You have to think about what you're doing now. Sometimes you have two great pitches like he did, a fastball and a split. That's all you need to think about is, like, I'm just going to throw these two pitches. They can't hit them anyways.
Yeah.
Now, goes out there, he's throwing 5 different pitches. You better know when to use them.
Taijuan Walker with a gem of an outing this afternoon. Let's go to the clubhouse where his manager, Rob Thomson, comments on his performance and the team's win.
To see Walker be the reason why the team won.
Really happy for him. Really am. I'm proud of him for the work that he's done in the off season. And, you know, this guy's, as I said prior to the game, he's a great teammate. And, you know, he's always on the top step when he's not pitching, always cheering on his team. He's always there, and he competes. So I'm just so happy for him. I really am.
The game we talked about how, before the game you talked about how well he handled boos in the past. Today he left the field to some people standing and cheering him. What did that mean to you?
A lot. I mean, really does, because you know, and I get it, but people don't see behind the clubhouse doors what he means to the club and the little things that he does to help the team. So it meant a lot for me.
What do you think made him effective today?
I think he just, I mean, he threw strikes, one, and he changed speeds behind the count. I thought that in his last inning, he got 3-1 on the leadoff hitter, and he threw a little cutter or slider or something and grounded to third base. I thought that was a huge pitch. Because if he walks that guy, you know, who knows what happens after that. But he just battled. He just went after people, and, you know, he pitched.
You mentioned that he's good at the little things. He made a play where he fielded a ball that deflected off his glove, and then he picked somebody off.
Picks a guy off.
What
Yeah.
makes him so good at
He's an athlete. He's an athlete. Yeah. He could be a linebacker, could be a defenseman in the NHL. He could be a power forward. He could do a lot of things. He's just a great athlete.
In cutters, I mean, not as many fastballs. Is that kind of the game plan going in? Is that?
I think so. You know, just change speeds. Don't get into a pattern. You know, but he held his velocity in the last inning. He threw a fastball that was 93, and that's what he started out with. I didn't see any 94s or anything above 93, but yeah, he just kept people off balance.
What did you make of the slider? That was the pitch. He threw a ton of them in his last start. He said it was a grip he picked up like 2 or 3 days before that start.
Yeah, I think it was pretty effective. I thought the split was okay too. He got some swings and misses today. 4 strikeouts. Hit a guy. I think he walked a guy, but you know, I thought he was good. I was really happy for him.
Alvarado there in the 9th.
Yeah.
Were you sweating bullets at the end, or what?
Well, just because of the pitch count, really. You know, it's 3 out of 4, and it's 35 pitches. So we're going to have to take care of him now. You know, the control command was just a little bit off, and that might have been from 3 out of 4 too.
Kyle Schwarber has 4 home runs through the first 6 games. I mean, what is anything, you know, different in terms of his approach? Like, what's working for him in this hot start that he's had?
Well, I think he's taking the same approach as he did last year with, you know, thinking left center, and when they come in on him, he just turns on it, and he trusts himself to be able to get there on inside pitches. So when he does that, like Marsh and Stott and the other left-handed hitters, you know, he's pretty good. He really is.
Has anything surprised you with a 5-1 start like this?
Not really. You know, I'd like to score a little bit earlier in the game. We tend to wait around a little bit, but that's the way it is right now. It'll happen where we start scoring early in the first inning and creating havoc. But not really. I think we're playing good baseball, and I expected that coming out of spring training.
Measuring stick series this weekend.
What's that?
How excited are you to face off with the Dodgers?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be good to see them. I think it's a great matchup. Pitching matchups are really good. So, we'll see where it goes.
Stole a couple bases. He didn't do a ton of that last year. Did you talk to him about being a bit more aggressive, or is he just great?
I think he's healthy right now. I think, we kind of put the leash on him last year just because, he had the knee issue and all the lower half stuff that he was going through. So, he can run when he's healthy.
Yeah. Long way.
Yeah.
Strong man.
Strong man, scary as we look
Schwarberian.
at Schwarberian and the box score. And Kyle Schwarber, 1 hit, but it was a doozy. Trey Turner, 1 for 4, had a stolen base. Bryce Harper, he needed those 2 hits today, a double and an RBI, 2 strikeouts. Alec Boehm, Max Kepler, 1 for 4. And Castellanos, nothing doing. Yes, sir?
It just was a very odd game to me because I felt like the Phillies put together a lot of good at-bats, but they had an opportunity to score 10 runs in this game again. It seems as though, I guess that's a good thing because when you're getting opportunities, sooner or later you're going to knock down those doors of opportunity. And, you do have the Dodgers coming up. That's where you have to really kind of straighten things out. You don't want to miss opportunities. If they're going to give you some walks and put some guys in scoring position, that's where you have to start scoring some runs. So this is kind of big coming up on a series where you're playing the Dodgers. Got to cut back on the with the runners in scoring position. You got to start knocking some guys in.
Yeah, and you have to also continue to prevent the runs, as that's what Taijuan Walker did today. A shutout performance today by Taijuan Walker. His first shutout start since June of 2023, the second of 2 straight shutout starts for Walker in June of 23. So it's been a while since he's pitched like this. Here's Taijuan Walker about his outing today.
Last year, and obviously coming here, making a start at home. Just how did you feel coming into today?
I felt good. I had to get 10 days off, so I felt fresh. But I thought my spring was pretty decent, and I was pretty confident going out of spring, so I felt good about it.
You heard some boos on opening day.
Mm-hmm.
To have the standing ovation as you're coming off the mound today, what did that mean?
It feels good, and it's part of the game for me, but my mom was here today, and I know she loved that. Made her feel good, so as long as she's happy. So, yeah.
When was the last time she was at a game?
She was here, when was she here? Last year, maybe sometime in playoffs. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Have you gotten a chance to talk to her yet?
I have, yeah. She texts me a billion times. Yeah, she's super proud, super happy. She says she's up there crying the whole time. So yeah.
What do you think was effective for you today?
Just pounding the zone, getting ahead, throwing strikes, and just really staying in the zone. They were aggressive today, so we just mixed the slider a lot early and the cutter. But everything was working today really well.
When's the last time your mom cried at a game?
Last year when I got booed. Yeah. So, but she's happy. She's so happy right now. Put a lot of work in the off season. Caleb and Loey and everyone, put a good program together for me, and we just worked hard and grinded it out this off season, and I think it showed.
I mean, individually for you, how have the boos kind of worn on you, and how have you dealt with it, especially knowing that it affects your mother like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want to hear them, constantly, but it's part of the game. It's tough to play here, but when you're pitching well, when you're doing well, and you're winning, it's the best fans to have. So.
Do you let yourself reflect after an off season you had and what you worked and went through to have a moment and pitch like that today?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I came in my locker and just the amount of support just from my friends and family, all the texts. It feels good. I did work hard in the off season, and I knew last year wasn't really myself, and so just to have a game like today and just get off on the right foot, it feels really good.
In that last spring start, you threw like a ton of sliders, and you said you threw a ton because it was a new grip. You picked up like 2 or 3, but you threw a ton of sliders today. What can you tell us about that? Is that like the plan going forward, or?
It just depends on the situation, but I'm just getting more comfortable with it and confident with it, and just seeing the swings I was getting, they were way out front. I just think it's a good speed separator. I think it was 83, 84. So just to separate the speeds. The curveball was really effective today too. So just to keep them off the splitter.